We are excited to be back in the studio this morning with Grandpa Jerry for our second segment. Today we're going to be talking about his early life. I did want to start by telling you that after yesterday's segments, I had dreams all night of having to eat flying squirrels and brains in my scrambled eggs. So thank you. I will probably never have scrambled eggs again. I also want to tell you I learned lots of great stuff yesterday that I didn't know. So last night as I was falling asleep, I just was having visions of your mom and dad and their life dancing through my head. So let's start at the beginnings. Just a couple of these questions might be a little overlap from yesterday, but so please state your name for the record.
Gerald Taylor.
And you were born on?
July the 18th, 1936.
In Evanston, Indiana?
Evansville,
Indiana. I should have known that from yesterday. Do you know if you were born in the hospital or at home?
Hospital.
Was that unusual at that time?
How would I know that?
I don't know. Maybe your mom told you that. Do you know what hospital you were born at? No?
No.
Okay. Any complications with your mom's pregnancy or the delivery that she told you about? Was there anything unusual about it?
Not that I know of.
She did tell you, though, that it was really hot that day in July?
Hotter than hell was her words.
No air conditioning?
I don't know. In 36, who knows?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Do you know if your dad was at the hospital that day?
I do not.
Okay.
I don't recognize anybody when I came out.
He could have been one of those people from Kentucky that you never knew who
That's
they were.
right.
Are Gerald or Roger family names? Or do you know how you got those names or why they named you that?
I guess they gave me his middle name.
Cecil Roger. Okay, so that's good to know. I don't think I knew that. And Cole Roger. So we've handed Roger down to the third generation then of people. What is your earliest memory? So when you close your eyes at night and you let your mind filter back through, your 40 plus years on this earth, what is the earliest thing that you can remember?
Well, I don't know. I remember being in different places in Evansville. I do remember being out in the rain when I was younger in my wagon with the rain suit on. I do remember that for some reason, playing out. I think I was playing with the neighbor kid, and it was raining, She looked out the door and said, fine, close the door.
What was your rain suit? What did that consist of? Do you remember?
Those rubber boots and a jacket and I think some pants, if I remember right. So I must have been younger when that was going on. I remember that. And then, but outside of the, I would say the normal childhood things around there, running around with mom and stuff like that, it's nothing really stands out, particularly.
So playing in the rain with your wagon is the
earliest
thing
that's
that you
the thing.
remember?
That's why I like wagons today.
It's funny when we can recall things like that.
Yeah.
Do you remember if you slept with a stuffed animal or a special blanket? Did you have anything like that when you were a little kid that you slept with?
No, girls came along later.
Oh
no.
my. Okay, that's not this segment. This is the family segment. Do you remember what you were afraid of as a child? Any of your childhood fears?
I don't think I had any.
None?
I don't think so.
No
not that
spiders, no
not that I remember.
Monsters?
No.
So just to catch everybody up, tell me how many siblings you have. Let's talk about your siblings for a quick minute.
Barbara Mason is the oldest one. She lives in Phoenix, Arizona. Her husband was a deputy sheriff for the city or county of Phoenix, ever how it works. He's retired. Paul Verling, the half brother, well, they're all half brothers and half sisters, is in Hawaii, and he's was married a long time ago with, I don't know, a daughter, I think. If I remember, you'd have to ask Paul.
Two daughters.
Two daughters, that's right, two daughters. They twins?
No,
No.
Shantae and Shozette.
No, before that. He was married before that.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
And I don't remember that story. And then Lori, and Lori's name is not Verling. Lori's name is Morrison, Lori Ellen Morrison. And she lives up in the mountains outside of Phoenix, and she's married to a logger. and has 3 daughters,
So 3 siblings, 3 half siblings.
all halves.
And we kind of talked about yesterday that you didn't really grow up necessarily with any of them for long periods of time, right?
No, not really.
So when you were growing up, out of all of your 2 sisters and your brother, who were you the closest to? Who did you have the best relationship with as you were growing up?
Well, Barbara and I were close for a while until she went over to the aunt and uncle. But she was, what are we, 6, 7, 8 years old, somewhere in there, I don't know. And then so she goes out of, my life. And then Paul was over here in Bakersfield. Dorothy, Paul, Lori was there for a while, and he was whatever he was, 10, 11, 12. And I used to take him driving back and forth over here to the coast a couple of times. So we were reasonably close, there, but I didn't see him a whole bunch because I'm raising my family, and she's trying to take care of her 2 kids and stuff. So, but you're not, it's not a family group, you're just not there. And then they left, so you didn't see him after that.
What's the age difference between you and Paul?
Paul is, he's either getting close to 62 or 65 because he was talking about Social Security not too long ago.
How old are you?
80.
So 15?
Yeah,
So
probably.
18 years difference?
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, who did you fight with? But you're really not fighting with people that are 12 to 18 years.
No, we didn't fight.
You're junior.
No.
You guys ever fight now?
No. I don't want to hurt him. He's bald-headed.
Tell me about your favorite birthday party that you had when you were a kid. Can you remember any? And I'm not talking about like 18, 19. I'm talking about 5, 6, 7. Can you remember any birthday parties at all?
I don't remember any birthday parties. I'm sure we had them, but I don't remember any of them.
So what's the earliest birthday party that you can remember?
I guess I don't know. But does my 50th count? I remember my 50th birthday party.
Do you remember turning 16?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know about the party.
So you don't remember, like, if your mom, was she the kind of woman that would have baked you cakes or taken you out for dinner?
Oh yeah, she was always cooking and stuff like that. Eating out wasn't a big deal in those days.
Well, that's not helpful at
know,
all.
I know.
I was hoping that you'd tell
No,
me
I don't remember birthday parties. I'm sure we had them, as far as that goes, but I don't remember anything about them.
Okay. Did you get a car when you turned 16?
Yeah.
Like on that day?
No.
But soon after that?
Yeah.
What was your favorite toy that you used to play with as a kid? Did you have anything?
A bicycle and a bow and arrow.
A bow and arrow?
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you used to play with that?
I don't know, probably 10, 12, somewhere in there, because that was back there.
So was it a real one, or was it kind of like a kid's fake version of a bow and arrow?
It had a point on it.
So you could have hurt someone?
Yeah, probably.
Did you get it for Christmas, or do you remember when you got it, or how you got it?
It might have been a birthday present. But the bicycle was brand new, and I ran into a tree stump or something and bent the fork on that, so they had to fix that.
Remember what color it was?
No, not really.
Go back to the bow and arrow. So was that just something that you kind of went around the neighborhood shooting at people's rose bushes and stuff, or did you do it legitimately, like in a hay bale with a target?
No, that's old school. We didn't do that kind of stuff. We did vandalism,
Oh, yes. I think I also did dream last night about somebody tipping over my outhouse. I think that's one of the things we talked about yesterday. Plus your wagon. We talked about your wagon.
What wagon?
You liked your wagon. That you were playing in the rain with.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll add that to your list of
Yeah.
joys. Have you done archery anytime, like was it something you enjoyed enough that you've ever done it as an adult?
No, I never got interested in it.
Any idea what you had for lunch on an average day of school? So like when you went to elementary school or junior high, did you pack a lunch? Did you have a lunch box?
They had, if I remember right, they didn't have cafeterias, but they had lunch programs and milk, sandwiches, cookies and things like that, fruit, oranges, apples and stuff. But I don't remember a cafeteria, as such. I don't know when cafeterias in school came along later on. But I don't really remember packing a lunch.
So it seems like you would have just gotten stuff when you got to school.
Yeah, because it was pretty expensive back in those days for lunch, like 25 or 35 cents.
Do you remember thinking if you liked it? Was the food, do you remember thinking like, this is disgusting, I don't want to eat this? Or you just sort of ate your sandwich and...
No, it was, I don't remember any bad things about it, but no, it was okay.
Did you believe in Santa?
I still believe in Santa.
So I was going to ask you how old you were when you stopped believing in Santa, but
No.
you haven't.
I believe in the Easter Bunny, too.
So talk to me about what Christmases were like in your early years. What do you remember about Christmas, being a young kid?
I remember a Christmas at Hortense and Harry's. We had a Christmas there. I don't remember too many Christmases with Mom, so apparently we had it and I shined it off, I guess. I don't really remember that. And then into Wyoming, then into Northern California. So we weren't up there for Christmas, down here for Christmas in Bakersfield. I guess I don't remember that many of them. I remember, so a tree was up and stuff like that.
That's what I was going to ask you more about. Like, did you guys have any, traditions that you followed?
No.
Did you guys always have a tree?
Yeah, they usually put up a small tree. I can remember that, a few small trees and stuff.
Do you remember, did you go and help them pick it out, or did you help decorate?
I don't know where they got them. Maybe they went out and got them when I was in school or something. I don't remember that part.
Did your mom have anything that she cooked special on Christmas, or any food or any traditions or anything like that?
Not that I remember.
What do you remember getting as a kid for Christmas?
Typical toys, trucks, and different things like that. But nothing. I don't know when that bicycle came along. That could have been a Christmas present. But nothing, out of the ordinary. Some clothes, I'm sure, was in there.
Socks, underwear.
Yeah, chonies.
What about Thanksgiving or any other holidays? Any traditions or memories that you have of Thanksgiving?
I
or
remember
Easter?
going to the, like I told you, the old people's house, which I don't remember their name. And I think there was a Thanksgiving there, because there was a lot of food there. No squirrels, but there was a lot of food there. Big table. So anyway, but I don't have that many memories of Thanksgivings and Christmas back when I was younger. So it must have just been fine, with me, and that's the way it went. And even all into Bakersfield, And then high school, I remember, she had a tree up and different things like that. But
did you look forward to those times?
Heck, I don't know. I don't look forward to them now.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. All right, well, let's talk about school then. So where did you go to elementary school? So you might have to hop us around and...
Well, it definitely was in Evansville, where we were situated. And for some reason, I remember going to a Catholic school one time.
So
also,
that's what I was going to ask you, if you went to public school or private school.
Both, and I don't remember what the deal was with the Catholic school while I was in there. I don't know. I have any idea. But I do remember getting in trouble in the Catholic school. And in those days, they set you in the corner of the room, right? And so everybody goes to lunch and leaves my butt in the corner of the room. I remember that, because Dorothy really got upset when she found out about it.
What did you do?
Hell, who knows what a kid does? I don't know what I did. But it was really funny, because the sister came back in. I remember that very vividly. She came back in. Oh, Jerry, I left you in here. So she went and got me some lunch.
Oh.
But I guess she figured she should tell Dorothy about it. So I guess her and Dorothy had a few words about that, So it was kind of funny about that. But I don't know whether it was a year or two, what the deal was going to that Catholic school. And then after that, it bounced to Wyoming for the 6th grade. And then it bounced to Boulder Creek north up there by Santa Cruz for part of the 6th grade. And then school must have been over. I don't remember. They came down to Bakersfield. And then that was 7th and 8th grade. in Bakersfield, junior high school there.
Did you get into fights in elementary school?
Yeah, I remember a couple.
You do?
Yeah.
You remember why you were fighting?
You're a kid. Who cares?
It doesn't matter just because you can.
Because you can.
In your young years in school, did you get good grades?
No, I was kind of,
Average?
yeah, kind of average deal. No big deal. I didn't flunk anything, but school was no challenge.
Do you think as a student, do you think you tried as hard as you could, or you were more there for the social aspects of it and to move on to something else?
I don't know. I think I just kind of slid through it. Wasn't no big deal. Didn't have any trouble in the teachers, Just did the work. You didn't have any homework, as I can remember. You did everything in class, so it was no big thing.
What was your favorite subject in school when you were younger?
Girls.
Did you major in was that your major?
Yeah. I enjoyed, I think, most everything. It's, it was pretty basic stuff, math, English, history, and all that kind of thing. I kind of enjoyed all of it. It wasn't a big deal. I didn't have any one thing that really turned me on in those days.
What about sports? Did you play any sports when you were young? Did you participate in any clubs when you were young or do anything after school?
In the 6th and 7th grade, I was on the track team. I have a certificate to prove that.
You do?
Yeah, your mother's got it in a big dictionary, I think, in the back of it.
You liked it?
Yeah, it was okay. I wasn't the fastest runner, but we got out there and did it, as far as that goes. And then after that, I didn't get into any sports.
What about just in the neighborhood? Did you guys play baseball? Did you throw a football around when you were younger? Is that how you spent your what'd you do after school?
Yeah, we, a couple of guys had motor scooters, Cushman motor scooters. So we would take off, and at Bakersfield that time, was just, I don't know what the population was, but it wasn't real big. But it was surrounded, by the hills and everything. So we'd take the motor scooters and go up into the hills and ride around. And eventually, a couple of guys had motor scooter. Eventually, I got one. I don't know where it came from, but you worked on it more than you rode it. Is what happened, But we would do that.
So like a mini bike that you sit on, or like really like a motorized scooter that you would stand up?
No, you'd have to see the Cushman motor scooters. You'd have to see them. No, you sit on them.
Okay.
And you crank them with your foot, to get going, and stuff. And then sometimes we would take 22 rifles out there and shoot at the rabbits. Did I ever hit one? No.
Do you remember what you wanted to be when you grew up? So think back to elementary school, junior high school. Did you dream of being a doctor, or do you have any idea what you wanted to be?
Aspirations came along later in life. No, I didn't know.
So
I don't even think I thought about that.
What was your favorite thing that your mom used to cook or bake for you? I know we talked about her being a great cook yesterday. Was there anything in particular? Like if she was here today and you were going to spend the evening with her and she was going to cook something for you, what would you want her to make?
Steak, potatoes, and milkshakes.
That was the best thing she made?
Yeah.
So you grew up during World War II, right?
Yes, right.
How did that affect your everyday life?
As far as I know, it didn't.
It didn't.
Because I'm 36. I was born in 36, and so you're talking about 41, 42, 43, 40. So what does that make me, 10 or 12 years old?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there? Right, so no, and as far as I know, it didn't affect the family life. It didn't affect food. It didn't affect lodging or anything like that, or jobs.
So you weren't affected by ration cards, or?
If we were, I don't remember it. Okay. I don't remember starving to death. So.
And never having to black out your windows?
No.
And Dorothy's work wasn't affected, or Cecil's work?
That's not been.
Not that you know of?
Not that I know of.
Do you remember as a kid, so here's this very tumultuous thing going on in the world. Do you remember thinking about it or hearing about it a lot as a kid, or was it something that due to your age you just were kind of able to, you just sort of blocked it out, like it really wasn't happening? It didn't feel like it was real or happening to you?
You probably, being at that age, I would say that most kids probably didn't pay any attention to it because it didn't affect their life unless there was something else going on. that would affect your life. I do remember that toothpaste tubes were not lead, but toothpaste tubes back in that deal are not like they are today. And people saved the toothpaste tubes and they were collected because it was a material that they needed in the war.
Was it metal?
I don't know what it was, but it was important because there was collection centers for toothpaste. You'd have to research that. I remember that part. I can't remember because I seen the tubes in somebody's house or someplace, and they were telling me about how they had to collect them for the war effort. That's the only thing I remember.
So you were in Bakersfield during that time, most of that time?
No, we were long. Well, the war was long gone over there.
By the time you were in Bakersfield?
Yeah.
As a kid, do you remember seeing war posters and things up all over the place, or seeing news footage reels about it, like when you would go to the movies? Or
have you ever seen Uncle Sam pointing, saying "We need you"?
Yes.
They were everywhere. I can remember those.
So the draft posters,
Yeah.
or the
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, we need you.
So how old were you when you were standing there looking at those posters from Uncle Sam?
36,
10-ish?
37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. 8, 7, 8, 9 years old probably.
And do you remember, still being a little kid and standing there looking at those posters, did it have any effect on you? Like, do you remember thinking at all, like, absolutely, if I was a grown man, Uncle Sam, I'd be your man, I would join, or no?
No.
Nothing like that?
No. I should have saved those posters though.
Yes, along with the toothpaste tubes.
Along with the toothpaste tubes.
Okay, so junior high, let's fast forward a little bit. Unless there's anything else you want to tell me that you can remember from being kind of elementary school age.
No, not really.
Okay. So where'd you go to junior high?
Bakersfield, Golden State Junior High School.
Was it 7th and 8th, or was it 6th, 7th, 8th?
7th and 8th.
Was that a good time, junior high school? Happy time? Good time with your family?
Carrie Cryle was my homeschool, my 7th and 8th grade homeroom teacher. So she kind of whipped me in shape there for a while, me and a couple other guys. I remember her name.
Because you were messing around?
Yeah, messing around.
Was she mean?
No, she wasn't mean. She was pretty good.
Did teachers hit you?
The social services, I think the social services teacher was male, big guy, and he threw a couple of erasers at a couple of the guys and hit them in the head with that, but you could get by with that back in those days, it was no big thing there. He, Shamandel was his last name. Retired over there because naturally after I left there, I lost track, and he moved over here. And I met him a couple of times and talked to him, and his son is a CPA here. But we chatted, and he died a couple of years ago. But yeah, he threw a couple of racers. He was good at it too. He hit him right in the head in the classroom.
But you never got hit? Not even in Catholic school?
No, no.
I think that might be kind of unusual.
Well, depends on,
who you are?
Your personality.
Did you have a telephone in your house when you were growing up?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I didn't use it, but yeah, I'm sure they did.
Even when you were in Evanston? Do you remember?
Evansville?
Yep.
Evansville.
By the time this video series is over, I'm going to remember.
There is Evanston.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
Maybe that's why I'm thinking that.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they had a telephone, but I don't remember anything about it. I didn't use it.
Even though you were majoring in girls?
Yeah, they wouldn't give me their number.
What about a TV in the house when you were growing up?
I don't know. I don't remember a TV.
Ever?
Not in. I don't remember TV in Indiana in the 40s.
So you don't remember the day that your family got a TV for the first time? You don't remember?
I really don't remember TV back in those days.
What about in Bakersfield?
Yeah, I think I remember a TV coming along there someplace, but I wasn't a big TV person anyway.
You weren't?
No,
So on the rare occasion when you would watch TV, do you remember what you would watch? Did you have shows that you were excited that they would come on?
I don't remember anything about TV in those early years. I don't know why, but I guess I just wasn't into it.
Did you guys watch the news at night or whatever as the family?
I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe Jack watched sports or something like that. Maybe that was it. I was probably outside messing with the dogs and stuff.
The motor scooter.
And the motor scooter.
What about a washer and dryer? Did your mom have those things?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't remember anything like that.
Even in Bakersfield?
Probably, maybe not, because the apartments and places we lived were smaller, and I don't know. Must have went to the laundromat or something. I have no damn idea.
Do you have memories of hanging clothes out on the line or helping her bring clothes in?
No. I wasn't allowed to do that, I guess, for dropping them in the dirt. I remember seeing a lot of clothes on lines.
Hanging out?
Yeah, hanging out. Yeah, there was a lot of that. But that's where hobos got their clothes. They stole them off the line.
Just walking around?
Yeah, walking around.
This looks good.
It looks
Ooh, that's a nice shirt.
That's a nice shirt. Take it, you know.
Did you guys go to church as a family?
Off and on. Yeah, she went to several different churches. The one of them had those little wine cups. I remember that.
Was it Catholic?
No, I don't think it was Catholic, but they had a tray and they had those little wine cups in there, you know, and they passed them by.
Honestly, Grandpa, that sounds like Mormons.
You think? I don't know. But yeah, I remember that. She went to church off and on. I don't think it was a regular thing, but yeah, she did go.
Would she have identified herself as a particular religion?
I don't think so.
No?
Mm-mm.
So you guys just kind of would move to a new area and she would find something that she liked or whatever?
Right. And I don't think it was an every Sunday deal. But I just do remember going once in a while, as far as that goes.
Did you like going to church?
I like the wine part.
To actually have wine in it?
Yeah, I drank it.
Oh, well, that's definitely not Mormons then. I have to find out who passes wine like that. So you enjoyed going to church when you were little?
Yeah.
Any particular type of church or that you preferred? So like when you look back at your life, do you think, yeah, I really liked when we would go to the Catholic church, or I really liked when we would attend one religion versus another?
I like the Catholic church. The services with all the kids, you know, because when the kids come along, they're all baptized Catholic, and she went to St. Patrick's Church, you know, and did all the functions there, and it was always nice. So I enjoyed that until the kids all started leaving, and she started backing off a little bit for, I don't know, different reasons. But she would go to church frequently.
You went to church with Grandma?
Yeah, and the kids all the time.
You went all the time?
Yeah, because I wouldn't take any chances, you know.
I didn't know that. I always thought you didn't go.
No. When the kids came along, we went all the time. We baptized them, did all that stuff, you know.
Are you a baptized Catholic?
No.
Did she want you to do that?
Never asked me.
Never asked you?
No. And a couple of the priests would come over to our house for beer and eat and stuff like that. And because Margaret and I didn't bug them about religion, we'd go to dinner and all that stuff. They come over, and I asked one of the priests one time if maybe I should go ahead and convert to, Catholic religion. He says, "Jerry, we ain't ready for you." But no, I never, considered that. It's just, and then later on, like I say, we went to church. I'd go with her once in a while, and she would go sometimes. I'd take her over and drop her off and pick her up and stuff. So whatever.
That's interesting. I don't think I ever knew that you went.
Oh yeah.
I think because by the time I came along, you weren't going.
Maybe so. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about vacations together as a family yesterday, and when you were in Evansville, you guys would take Sunday drives and things like that. Did you ever do any big vacations together as a family?
No, not that I remember.
So no Disneyland as that came along? Well, that was more after your kids were born.
Yeah, that's later on. No, I don't remember any big vacations. Money probably wouldn't, allow it anyway back in those days.
Did your mom go on vacations with any of her husbands, or was that just not something that was part of your life at that time?
No, I remember going with B and Cecil on, weekend vacation in Kentucky like we talked about, but no, I don't remember Dorothy or Jack really going any place, or Lee, because he was in and out of the Army, I think. No, not really.
So you also grew up kind of at the tail end of the Depression as well. So do you think that was something that, again, affected your everyday life?
No, not being born in 36. everything was coming out of it then.
So your mom wasn't the kind of person that was like saving everything, reusing everything. You don't remember thinking that money was really tight for your family?
No, I don't have any thoughts on that at all.
Was it unusual for that time period for your family not to have financial worries in that way?
Maybe it was just their livelihood. Maybe being a waitress and Cecil being a truck driver, maybe that was just it. Maybe they were in a field that was needed. You always have to have truck drivers, and out there. And if you've got restaurants, you got to have people running them. So maybe that was it. Maybe their line of work just came along.
Do you feel like you went without things when you were a kid?
No, I never went without anything.
You always had the things that you
Clothes, food, school. No.
What about pets growing up?
No. I don't remember any pets in Indiana. And then when we got into Bakersfield, they, I don't know how they had it, but they had a dog, which I took care of the dog. There was a couple of dogs in and out during that period of time. And then high school, the Doberman Pinscher came along.
You had a Doberman Pinscher?
And he's a mean sucker, boy, I want to tell you.
Mean to you?
No, he wasn't mean to me. He loved me and Dorothy and Jack. But where we lived up by the grocery store where I started working, there was 2 or 3 rental houses in there, and there was no fences. So they had him on a chain, and people used to take the shortcut through those houses until he showed up, and nobody took any shortcuts anymore. But anyway, they had him for a while.
What was his name?
It'll come to me. Anyway, after a while, because he was chained up and they didn't like doing that and everything, they couldn't let him loose. They took him out to Louis' wrecking yard and put him in there, and he's a junkyard dog, boy.
No one was getting in?
No, so I'd go out and visit him out there and get in the cage with him and everything. So he didn't have any problem with me, but yeah, he was mean.
No other pets? No guinea pigs? No fish?
No, nothing like that.
So as you were growing up with your mom, there were periods of time where she was single, right? She would be married, then she wouldn't be, then she would be married, and then she wouldn't be. So living with just kind of you and your mom through this period, were you protective of her?
Probably protective of each other, but I don't remember any problems or anything like that as far as that goes.
Did you feel like it was your job to take care of your mom?
No, not really. She, I think, took care of me more than I took care of her, but we didn't really have any problems, domestic problems or anything like that.
So did you have chores that you were assigned to do every day when you got home from school?
I did some dishes.
Dishes were your chores?
I hate dishes.
Was that it?
No. Dishes and picked up stuff, just general stuff like that. I worked in the yard with her. She had a yard in a couple of places, we go out there and work in the yard, things like that. But no, not really anything hardcore. Just general stuff, as far as that goes when you're being raised. And then they were in apartments sometimes and different small rental houses where there weren't any yards, so you didn't have to worry about that.
So you weren't out cutting the grass all the time? That's how I picture you, as like a 10-year-old.
No.
With your World War II era Hawaiian shirt on, cutting the grass.
Cutting the grass, no.
I didn't know you were playing with your Doberman Pinscher. What did you do for fun on a Friday night with your friends as you started to get older? Junior high, high school, what'd you do on the weekend?
What do you think we did?
Well, I don't know. If I knew, I wouldn't be doing this movie.
Usually, if I didn't have a car, I'd get a car from Louis.
Borrow it for the weekend?
Oh, yeah, because he was on Highway 99.
Introduce Louis.
Louis owned a wrecking yard, Louis' wrecking yard on Highway 99 that shot right through Bakersfield. That was the main highway. And Jack might have worked for him for part-time, and I don't know, maybe Dorothy came in later on, was his secretary. But he had a really good, in those days, people went out to wrecking yards to get car parts they needed. And people would stop by there to sell him an old car. So he'd buy an old car and he'd sell it and make money doing that. So if I needed a car, he'd give me the keys to one of the cars sitting out in front. And that's what Louis would do. And I worked for him off and on sometimes on the weekends, and he would give me money, like on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. He'd give me some money and said, "Do not come back drunk tomorrow." And anyway, so we would take a car, 3 or 4 of us, you'd take a car, go out bumming around, usually, I would say on Saturday night more than Friday night. And so the first thing we had to do was get money together for gas, which was about 25 cents a gallon for gas. So, and then the second thing, if we had enough gas in the tank, then we had to get money together for beer. You know, so we had
in high school.
Yeah, so we had to find a place to go buy the beer. So anyway,
did people give you a hard time? So you're 3 or 4 high school age boys walking in. Did they give you a hard time selling you alcohol?
Hell yeah, you couldn't buy alcohol back then.
Well, you can't buy alcohol now either,
That's
but that
right.
doesn't mean that people don't.
No, we got the beer. That was no problem. And
so really, tell me about your experience walking in. Did you know that there were certain stores where you could buy it from? Mm-hmm. So that's where you went? You just figured out who was going to, okay.
So we get our beer, you know, and stuff and do that.
So you got a full tank of gas.
Full tank of
got
gas.
a full trunk of beer.
We got a full trunk of beer, you know. So then we're cruising.
What are you going to eat?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe we ate already. But you're cruising up and down, you know, the main drag, Chester Avenue in Bakersfield, you know. But doing that, and then you go out to Michener's Drive-In in East Bakersfield was the popular drive-in to hang out.
Did they have regular theaters, or people pretty much just went to the
No, this
drive-ins?
is a restaurant, not a theater. This was a restaurant.
Oh, drive-in.
Drive-in restaurant.
Oh.
They made really good hamburgers, and I had a buddy that worked there anyway during the week.
Roller skating waitresses?
No, we didn't have any of those. Not in Bakersfield.
Yeah. So what'd you do? You push the button to place your order?
No, they
would come out?
They would come out and take your order and stuff on the trays, you know, and set it up on the deal. But anyway, you go there Friday and Saturday night, whatever night you were out cruising around. And the cops, being smart, you know, like they are, they would come in, cruise, and find a car that they knew or find a face that they knew. Come on, Taylor, get out of there and open the door, open the trunk. Take all of our beer, put it in a patrol car, close the trunk, say, "See ya," drive out with our beer.
That was it?
Yeah.
No arrests?
No arrest.
They just didn't want to have to buy their own beer.
They go 2 or 3 cars and take all the beer, then they'd leave, you know. But there was plenty of beer around. But the drive-in was real popular as far as that goes, you know. So you'd hang out in there with the girls or whatever you wanted to do. And then basically we just bummed around, did our thing on the weekends.
Did you go to the movies a lot as a kid?
We went to a few drive-ins, but you went in, you put the guys in the trunk, you know, and closed the trunk.
So you didn't have to pay?
Yeah. Or if you wanted to get in the drive-in, how did you do that? I think you backed in the exit, you know? Backed in the exit.
That's why they have those tire things
right,
now, that
yeah,
if you're
right.
trying to do that.
Yeah, you backed in at the exit, you know.
So go back to the drive-in restaurant real quick. Any idea, do you remember what it would cost you to get a milkshake and a hamburger and fries for dinner?
I don't know. Probably $1, maybe $1.50, depending on what you got.
For dinner?
Yeah.
And any idea, do you remember what it cost to get into a movie?
It wasn't very much. Probably the same thing, maybe 50, 75 cents, you know. Yeah.
So what movies do you remember seeing at the movie theater or the drive-in at this time in your life? Are there any that you remember seeing?
Sober or drunk?
Remember, this is a family flick, so we're not going to go.
Excuse me.
We're not going to go into too much of that.
I don't remember movies back in those days. Not really.
Sounds like you had other things that you were doing. Are you still in contact with anybody from this time in your life? Junior high, high schoolish?
No. The one guy that worked in the drive-in restaurant used to come over every once in a while, and you know, we'd take him to lunch or dinner, whatever they wanted to do. But I haven't heard from him probably 10 years, and that's the only one that really I kept in touch with, because we ran around together all the time.
When was the last time you heard about a high school reunion? Are they still having them?
Yeah.
Have you gone to any?
No, because I'm trying to think. No, I think see what happened when I got out of high school, graduated senior year. The counselor called me in and said he screwed up and I was a class short, so I couldn't graduate. I said, that's no problem. I'll pick it up. All I had to do is pick it up, you know. So probably because of that, I never got any announcements for class reunions.
So, because technically you're not on that list of...
I wasn't on that list, but I had friends call me, you know, and tell me that I went to school with, you know, there's a class reunion if you want to go. But Margaret and I never went to them. And then, no, I haven't heard anything about that. But it's a pretty good sized class, if I remember right, over there, because there's only 2 or 3 high schools, 3 maybe, at that time there. So it was a pretty big class. And I didn't deal with a lot of them anyway. I was working, so it was no problem anyway. So.
Okay, so let's talk about where you went to high school. So you went to high school in Bakersfield High.
Mm-hmm.
What words would you use to describe yourself in high school?
High school was just kind of I don't know, it was just kind of a cruise situation. You know, I got out of high school at, it was 2:30, I think, and I went to the market to go to work. So social activities in high school wasn't a big thing with me. You just kind of did your thing. They had, at Bakersfield, and maybe other high schools, I don't know, at that period of time, they had restaurants around, what I'm talking about is high school restaurants. Around the school, there was 2 or 3 of them where you could go eat lunch, you know, because nobody took their lunch, and I guess nobody took them. I don't remember taking lunch. And so you could eat in these restaurants. And then at 2:30, I was gone. I was headed back to East Bakersfield to go to work in the market. So and I did the classes and graduated, and I didn't flunk anything. So, except that one class I short when it ended up, and it was over.
So so use adjectives to describe yourself. Like if you think back to that boy, shy, troublemaker, smart, funny. How would you describe your high school self?
I was pretty good with people.
So were you a popular kid?
Well, with a certain group I was popular. And but yeah, I was real good with people all that time.
So you were friendly?
Yeah, depending on the gender.
Were you shy?
No, not necessarily. No.
Were you so you weren't you weren't one of the really like super smart kids?
No.
But you were definitely a good-looking kid. So I've seen pictures of you from that era. I'm assuming that you didn't have trouble getting dates if you wanted dates?
Yeah, well, yeah, there was a few of them that we kind of floundered around with.
Floundered? If you were getting dressed for your average day of high school, what would you have worn? It's just your average day, you go to your closet.
You don't really want to know.
I do want to know. What did you wear?
Leather shoes, highly shined.
Like patent leather, like the shiny ones?
Yeah, well, I don't know about patent leather, but leather shoes, highly shined.
Okay.
It's called a spit shine.
Like Oxfords? Like you lace them up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, really, I mean shine.
Wingtips?
No, I don't think they were wingtips,
Okay.
but you had to shine those.
All right, so highly shined leather shoes,
Right.
black?
Most of the time black.
Okay.
And then Levi's.
All right.
Now Levi's back in those days in high school, you did not wash your Levi's.
Ever?
Ever. You wore them all the time.
So you're at one of the high school restaurants and you spill spaghetti sauce on your jeans? You just like spot clean it?
Hell no, it just flow off. But you wore those things forever. I think it was a contest.
To see who could go the longest?
Who could go the longest, so I don't know whether, but... and
Button
then,
fly or zippers? Do you remember?
I think they're buttons. And then always a nice shirt.
So when you say nice shirt, button up? Or,
Oh, yeah.
Or t-shirt? Oh, so button up shirt?
Yeah, none of this stuff here.
Did you tuck it in?
Oh, yeah.
Did you wear a belt?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then hair. Hair was very important. Not that hair. Not that hair.
This hair.
Yeah, that hair.
That hair.
That hair.
This hair.
That hair in the back has got a duck's ass in the back.
So what'd you meaning where it like all comes together in that perfect point?
That's right.
So what did you use? Pomade? Like what did you put in your hair? Because that isn't, you're not going to wake up looking like that in the morning. How'd you get that?
Dixie Peach.
That's a pomade?
I think so, if I remember right. Yeah, or Brill Cream. Brill Cream was another one.
So show me with your finger, like how much did you, because so like I know how much gel I put in my hair this morning to look like this. How much did you use? A bunch? Did you like?
No, it didn't take a heck of a lot.
Just a little bit?
Yeah, it just took a little bit. Brill Cream was also good too. It held it pretty good.
Did you carry a wallet in high school?
Probably so, because, you know, you had to have your driver's license and stuff, I would imagine.
Any idea what else besides your driver's license you would carry?
Money.
Money? Pictures of girls?
No, hell no, you didn't do that.
No?
No, what if you took another girl out and she got your wallet and was taken out? You don't do that.
Did you go to school activities like the prom?
Nope, didn't do none of that stuff.
Never?
No.
You never went to the prom?
No, I didn't go to proms. and stuff.
Homecoming?
No.
Did you go to football games and stuff on Friday night?
No.
No,
I was working.
Were you in trouble in high school? Did you get in trouble?
Not in high school. I got in trouble while I was in high school, but
Well, that's what but not, okay, so not at school. You weren't like detention. You didn't get in trouble with your teachers?
oh no, none of that. The trouble was outside of high school.
We'll come back to that. Did you think about going to college at that time in your life? Do you remember thinking that you wanted to go off to college?
No, that came later on.
So did you get your driver's license when you turned 16?
Yeah.
Like on that day?
No, I don't know about that, but I got it.
And we talked about having a car. You borrowed a lot of them from Louie. When did you get your first car that belonged to you?
It was somewhere in that period of time when I was working at the market. I don't remember. It was a Chevrolet Coupe, but I don't remember why or where I bought it. But I paid for that. I had money to pay for that. Because when I was working at the market, Dorothy got me the job up there. She'd set it up with the owner of the market. And I offered to give her money. She'd never take money from me. So I saved money and bought a car.
So Chevy Coupe.
Yeah, it was a Chevy Coupe. I don't remember the year.
Was it nice or was it kind of a junker?
No, it was a pretty nice little coupe. Yeah.
It was nice?
Yeah.
You remember what it cost?
No, not really. No, I don't remember what it cost. But it was a nice little coupe. It was good for 2 people. 3 if you wanted to squeeze them in.
In the back?
Yeah.
Or next to you?
Yeah.
Tell me about your road trip to California when you were a teenager.
To or from?
I guess, tell me about your long road trips.
You mean from back in Indiana to here?
Didn't you drive like by yourself across the country when you were, what, 15 or 16?
Yeah, I went on a train to go back to Evansville, to Terre Haute, Indiana for freshman year of high school. There and back and forth on a train. That was a pretty good experience for a young kid. Did that. And then, I don't know why, but Louie and I drove from Bakersfield to Indiana. And I don't know if he wanted to see Dorothy or the kids or what he wanted to do. But we did that. We did that one time. And then I went by myself one time, maybe just, I don't know, to see Hortense because she was in St. Louis, and that was on your way, seeing her, see Dorothy and the kids, and I came back. And you would pull in the service station late in the evening, buy some gas, and ask the guy if he could sleep out of the side of the building. He said, yeah, I'll watch you. And you go out there and go to sleep in the car, get up the next morning, take off again.
So you were 16 or 17?
I was somewhere in there, junior, senior year, but I don't remember why I had to go back there. I mean, it wasn't an emergency or anything. I guess I just wanted to go. Maybe I had the money and decided to take off.
And your mom had no problem with you just
She was
setting
there.
off?
She was there back there. She was in Indiana. So it was a good, it was a good trip. So, and that was Route 66.
So how'd you drive? Bakersfield?
You went from Bakersfield to Arizona, maybe through Mexico, all through there. That's where 66 went.
Yeah.
Yeah. It started, I think, in LA, which part of it's still there. It's a historic route now.
It's just hard for me to imagine as a mom letting Quinn get in the car and drive across country by himself.
By himself.
Right now.
That's right.
Okay, Quinn, see you later.
That's right.
I have a hard time picturing that.
Yeah.
If you had the opportunity to sit down and talk to your 16 or 17-year-old self, quick afternoon, you could have lunch, or you could sit in a format like this with your 16 or 17-year-old self, what would you tell him? What would you say to that kid?
Considering my life that I've had and everything, I probably wouldn't change anything to that person. The only thing you might do is, if you really wanted to change your life around, you might have went to college if you had, something you wanted to learn. I mean, or a profession you wanted to do, and get out of college and maybe pursue a career that way. But with my life that I had, I didn't have a problem with it. Even, in those younger years, I didn't have any problem with everything. It was a good family, and it was, there was no abuse, domestic violence or child abuse in all those years. So I didn't have an upbringing, that's really sad or, anything like that. So, and I was in jail once, but that was no big deal.
What?
No, that's something different. But
As a kid?
yeah, well, we got locked up for drunk driving, but that's okay. That's no problem.
I like how you just throw that in at the end of the segment, just casually
but we
slide
had,
that
you got to
across.
stop and think, about people that's had bad lives and bad mothers and bad fathers and alcoholism and drugs and all that stuff. And we didn't have any of that, We just had a really good life, I mean, I'm sorry I was brought up in Bakersfield, but that's what happens.
Do you, so you don't really have any advice that you would give to him?
No, not really.
You would sit across from him and look at his great hair, and you'd think, man, that is just great hair.
That's
and
great hair, yeah.
Tell him you love him. And
Yeah, that's right.
did you miss that kid?
Probably, yeah.
All right,
They
well,
were good years. It's good memories back in those times.
I'm glad to hear that, because I don't think that's everyone's experience in life.
No.
And I think that as we start to talk about the way that you started your family and raised your kids, it's very easy to see how your experiences, I think, affected and shaped the way that you started your own family. So thank you so much for doing this with me.
No problem.
See you tomorrow.